Ms. Legalista here. Welcome to the video. Thank you for joining and welcome. I want to talk about what's going on in Maryland, what's been happening in the last couple of days, coming out of the governor's office with Governor Wes Moore signing what they are calling a historic executive order pardoning, I can hardly say that, pardoning 175 Maryland convictions related to the possession of cannabis, including convictions for misdemeanor possession. It said it represents the largest pardon ever for something like this across the whole country. Now, they say that they're the first state to take this sort of action. Now, I'm not going to ask any of you whether or not you're going to be the beneficiary of this, but let's dig down into this and see what this actually looks like, because sometimes we get these big pronouncements only to find out that it doesn't really change anything, right? Like, you get up the next day, if you're supposed to be a beneficiary of this, you get up the next day and things are exactly the way they were the day before. Nothing really changes. It says here, Maryland made history when we legalized cannabis by referendum, but we cannot celebrate the benefits of legalization while forgetting the consequences of criminalization. And let me bring my mic a little closer here so I can make sure you hear all of this very well. And I didn't even check. No Marylander should face barriers to housing, employment, or education based on convictions for conduct that is no longer illegal, said Governor Moore. Today, we take a big step forward toward ensuring equal justice for all. But this won't be our last effort. We must continue to move in partnership to build a state and society that is more equitable, more just, and leaves no one behind. Let me tell you, there was a time, because it matters where you are when it comes to what justice looks like. So he's talking about justice, and I should bring this up so you can look at it. I will in just a second. So he's talking about justice, but it matters where you are, what state you're in, what country you're in. Okay, but for now, we're talking about the United States. What state you're in. We feel a little divided because blue states, red states, purple states. Who would have thought our country would be defined by Crayola colors, primary colors? But red, purple, blue states, your access to justice, or what justice looks like to you, might depend on what state you're in. And then within that state, it could depend on what county or borough or whatever you call it in your state, what county you're in. So I'm here in North Carolina, and I would say that I live in a state that tends to be a little bit more forward thinking about trying to make people's lives better. I remember being in court in Guilford County, not too far from here, maybe 45 minutes from where I am. I can get to Greensboro. I can leave for court a lot earlier than that. But I was coming out of court one day on a civil matter, okay? A gentleman approached me in the hall and he said, "Are you an attorney?" You know how people get that sort of hopeful look in their eyes? Like, you're the one, she looks like she might be in her, let me talk to her because she might be able to help me out, right? And you see it coming, right? You see it coming. And he asked, and I said, yes. So then he goes on to tell me about this possession case, and I hate to just deflate him right then and there. I'm like, dude, no, I don't do criminal. I'm so sorry. And were you in my county, there were probably more resources that I could have directed him to that probably would have been able to help him so that he was not on his own. I'm not the person to help you with your criminal case because I don't do criminal law. Like, I'm the last person that you want. But really and truly, we should have a system where anybody, no matter where you are, should feel like they have access to the same kind of justice that somebody in another county has, that it really shouldn't depend on my zip code. Okay, justice by zip code, not what we're looking for, right? So if you're in Maryland, you're probably saying, hey, or if you're not in Maryland, you're saying, honey, um, scheduling a U-Haul. I'm on LinkedIn looking for some new jobs. Some of you are thinking about that. But yeah, options. What'd they say? No Marylander, and I'm going to take that out. It should be like no one should face barriers to housing, employment, or education based on convictions for conduct that is no longer illegal. And in Maryland, it's no longer legal because of the referendum that they passed. Let me bring this up so that you can actually take a look at this. I'll scroll down so you can see the nice picture. But again, coming from the state of Maryland here, press release published just a couple of days ago, and there he is right there with that executive order. And it says the governor's pardon follows a constitutional amendment passed during Maryland's 2022 legislative session that legalized adult use and possession of cannabis and was overwhelmingly approved by popular referendum. There have been some studies, some polls that indicate that most Americans are in favor of this. We have some legislators that are not ready to go down that road with us, though. It's got a list of eligibility criteria here. Convictions, you see what it is. Related disposition of guilty or probation before judgment, charges occurring prior to January 1st, 2023. And then you've got down here just some more information about where to go and who's sort of been working on this. The Last Prisoner Project, I'm having a tough time talking today, applauds Governor Moore and his administration's actions to rectify racial disparities caused by cannabis prohibition. Today's historic pardon is the boldest measure undertaken by any governor and will finally provide a light at the end of the tunnel for people who are dealing with the collateral consequences of a record. And this is the big deal right here: the inability to find housing, employment, education, or even insurance or financial products based solely on a scarlet letter from their past. And you see the last sentence here. All it takes is a stroke of a pen to write history. And that goes both ways, right? To write, WRITE, and to write, RIGHT. I'm trying to be smart today. Look at that. I'm trying to be smart today. All right, pen to write history. You have a gentleman shown here on their website who is going to be a beneficiary of this. And then you have some information about what this process is going to look like, because that's what you really want to know, right? So, Ms. Legalista, what do I have to do? If I live in Maryland, what do I have to do? It says individuals do not need to take any action to receive the pardon. After the judiciary updates the electronic dockets to reflect the pardon, a process should take approximately 2 weeks. Individuals can check online or at a public kiosk at any courthouse in the state to verify whether they were included in the pardon. So you've got some links there, and you can go to governor.maryland.gov, the governor's website, to learn more about this. Now, one of the things I do want to point out that a pardon is very different from an expungement. Okay, it says anyone who is eligible for a pardon who is not included in the mass pardon may apply for a pardon through the regular application process. And then down here, you see at the bottom, it says a pardon is different from an expungement. Let me highlight that because I want to make sure people understand that, because I think that is a really big piece that people need to know. They think, oh, okay, so this is no longer going to be in my record. Not true. That's not the way this works. So I want to be really clear so that you understand what this looks like. And here's the other thing too. Even if this does not or is not information that you need personally. It's information that you can share with someone else. Okay? A pardon is different from an expungement. Though the Maryland judiciary will make a note on the record that the offense has been pardoned, it will still appear in the on the individual's record. Expungement is the process by which a criminal conviction is destroyed and removed completely from the public record. Individuals who want to remove a conviction from public records must file for an expungement. And you see the link there. Now, my daughter actually worked for a local legal aid office here one summer as an intern, and she learned a lot. She said she worked on over 50 expunctions, and it was very interesting to see her dressed up. And one time she FaceTimed me, and she's all, she's like, I'm walking over to the courthouse with my files, and I'm thinking, wow, okay, somebody's getting old, and it ain't me. So that's it. That's what you have there. I think that's all the information that you need. Again, and you can see there the piece there for legal help for expunction. And like I said before, even if this is not something you need, just having the knowledge about this and sharing it with somebody else so that people don't feel so apprehensive. Because what really happens is a lot of times we can self-select out of things. We will self-select out of applying for a job because we're concerned about a conviction or something else that happened, or we don't have this that they're asking for. And so we won't even apply, right? We won't apply. I've done that so many times in my life, looked at something and thought I didn't have that one missing piece. I didn't fit perfectly 100% what they were asking for. And so I self-selected out of it, out of an opportunity. I didn't even give the other party a chance to actually look at me, look at what I was bringing to the table, and to make a decision on their part. I took myself out of the running. So what I'm saying here is let people know so that they can stop self-selecting out of opportunities. Because like I said, like it said here on the website, on the governor's website in this press release, all of the collateral consequences that were occurring because of these convictions will now, we hope that they have less of an impact. All right. Share this, share it on your socials, share it with your friends and family. Make sure the word gets out, even if you don't live in Maryland. You can also reach out to your own legislators and talk to them about, hey, can we do what they're doing in Maryland? Of course, some of them will be like, absolutely not. But for those states that are considering something like this, Maryland's leading the way. Take a look at it, see what you need to do to get in line also. All right, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you felt like this gave you some information that you needed that was relevant to real world as opposed to some of the other things that I may be talking about. And don't forget to subscribe. Mwah. Peace.